trying to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Howdy.
Good evening, infidels.
Speak up, Dylan.
I said, good evening, infidels.
Ah.
How y'all doing tonight?
I'm here.
Doing pretty good.
10 more days till Christmas, and Santa's on his way.
No, 10 days from now, Santa will be back home going, God almighty.
Traffic was fierce this year.
Yeah, traffic was horrible today. John, it took 30 minutes to get from Northgate to Highland Plaza.
Sounds about right.
Bumper to bumper.
Oh.
I gave up and turned around and went down Eli.
How long does it normally take?
10 minutes.
3 minutes.
For those of us in the audience, how long does it normally take?
3 minutes. It's a
3
2-mile
minutes?
run. It's a 2-mile run.
It's longer than 2 miles.
No.
From Highland Plaza to Northgate Mall is about, 3.5, 4 miles.
It's 2.5 miles from my house. if I go down Hickson Pike.
I'm going to throw a flag on that one. Plus all the traffic lights. I mean,
Well, I'll tell you, tensions are building. I went to Walmart today, and people are frantic already. As close as we're getting to the last shopping day.
you think they'd never heard of online shopping? I mean, just that's yeah. Let's waste two tanks. Of
Do what
gas to save
my mom
$5 on a Christmas present.
Lindsay's already got
My
stuff
mom, my
wrapped
grandma
and
would
under
do
the
all their
tree.
Christmas shopping.
Yeah, I should've gone
My
with
mom and grandma would always do their Christmas shopping the day after Christmas for next year. They didn't believe in Black Friday stuff.
Joe, I think so too.
They said there was too much cleanup work.
Is my mic turned down more than usual? I don't think so.
You're awfully quiet.
Am I?
Yes.
I just turned it up.
Oh, did you? Okay, I was about to do that. Do I
We're
sound
used
better
to
now?
Yes, we're used to a more boisterous John.
I've noticed that the mic settings on everyone have changed in the last few weeks. I don't know if somebody's been going there playing with the mic settings or if they did an update and it zeroed everything out or what.
They did an update.
There was another update.
Yep. I had to go in and tell it which microphone and headset that I wanted to use all over again. I believe it was last week. Y'all couldn't hear me.
When Zach was on the other night, I had to turn his microphone up. Of course, he hoarse, can't talk very well. So let's see. Joe was just talking about in the news. They did a static fire of one of the starships down there at Boca Chica with SpaceX.
And that was an awesome camera angle.
It was a drone camera, and they put it right above the nose cone looking down over the rocket. You saw the rocket flare come out in all directions. It was kind of cool.
It actually looks like it's coming up at you there for a second.
Yeah, you think about it for a second, like, ooh, that's going to leave a mark.
Did the concrete stay put this time?
No.
Yeah, they concrete stays put on on that pad.
I know. Also in the news, Congress, this just popped up earlier right before the show. Congress has passed the military budget, and what was it, $845 billion, and apparently they did a mandate. You don't have to get the COVID-19 shots anymore in the military.
Yep.
It's no longer a mandate, apparently. And the reason was they were having trouble meeting recruiting goals because people are like, I don't like that vaccine. So the military does have a long history of giving soldiers whatever the hell trendy vaccine comes out. I mean, swine flu, anthrax, 15 different flavors of COVID.
Well, because of all the countries they have to go to.
Yeah, they just line you up in your boxes and send you down the hallway.
Mm-hmm. It's like mass production. You get a
If
little
you just
dabble,
had to
do you
stay
all
here
way
in
along
the
the way, is
United
what I
States,
understand.
well, that would be. Is my mic off
What?
No,
on your end?
What?
no.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're lagged like hell, but
No, I was. Well, and my thing was going through an update right before I got on backstage, but
Mine did that yesterday, I think.
now don't they have? Is tomorrow the cutoff date for the partial shutdown or whatever for doing the vote?
Well, that's just it. That's what this bill was. This was the bill that was holding up the approval for the budget.
Yes, and they did put more dollars for Ukraine. They're talking right now about
for the whole, but okay.
Yeah. They're starting right now talking about sending JDAMs to the Ukrainians so that their fighters will be that much more effective.
Oh yeah,
because a JDAM rarely misses. Let's put it this way: it uses GPS to guide it, so it's accurate to within 4 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And considering the smallest bomb we've got right now is a 500-pound bomb,
That's
with
close
with
enough for
about
horseshoes.
100-meter blast radius. 4 meters isn't really that bad of a miss.
Obviously, the GPS wasn't made by TomTom. I'll tell you that one right now.
Sharks with laser beams on their head. Yes, that's.
Oh, that's 60s technology.
But you're going up against a Navy that was built in the 60s. So, hey, there you go.
Hey.
It's like, some of the older weapons, some of the older weapons that Russia has been sending into this thing. I don't know if any of you have been following any of the posts on my Facebook page, but a few months back, they were talking about the 57 millimeter anti-aircraft guns they were sending in, which is literally World War II technology. But
it worked, didn't it?
It worked then, and strangely enough, it would be a terribly effective weapon against drones. Because it's despite all the sophistication that goes into drones, a lot of them are propeller driven, which is pretty much the same technology you had back in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So, then the other one we were joking about was they were talking about whether or not the T-34 was the greatest tank of World War II. I said, wait till next month when Russia starts deploying them in Ukraine. And and one of the people that was on there that was Russian is like, that's not funny. I didn't mean it to be funny.
World War II technology worked great. You built 500,000 bombers and sent them out. 3 or 4 of them are going to get through.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah. Bless you, John.
Of course, now that's that leaf mold allergy. For all the rain we've been getting, it's terrible.
Yeah. Carl says he used to have a GPS for geocaching, got him within 30 feet. He says, I'm sure the military can do better than that.
They can't. They actually have GPSs that I know the engineers have them that are accurate to within 10 centimeters, maybe, under ideal conditions. And that's one thing the military really doesn't know any damn thing about is ideal conditions.
Really?
We don't work there.
When has the military ever seen ideal conditions except peacetime?
Exactly.
Yeah, ideal conditions for that GPS is sunny day, no clouds anywhere in sight, in a no-fly zone with
satellite directly overhead.
No trees, and preferably no hills anywhere nearby.
Yeah.
Because then you have to pick up at least 3 satellites for your GPS to get your 3D image. I get 3D coordinates. And there's just so much. High tension power lines can throw it off. Rain on tree leaves can block the signal. Thick rain clouds can block the signal.
People who used to own satellite dishes know this.
That's just one of the big problems. Now,
well, not to mention.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, not to mention all the cell towers and the wind turbines and that.
Actually, I think a cell tower may actually help the damn thing, but I'm not certain. Well, they both run on GPS time, so
you probably know this too. GPS also works above the satellites because the satellite works in a sphere.
They they get the signal from a atomic clock, which I believe is in Maryland somewhere. The Navy runs it. That I'll tell you something.
Yeah. The Navy runs it.
And it sends a signal out, and they all send this radio pulse, and they know exactly where they are because of how long it takes this radio pulse to get from each satellite to each satellite, according to this atomic clock. And then if you're on the ground with a receiver, you're getting that same bounce, and it does the math and figures out, how far away you are from this guy and where the master clock is. So,
Carl can probably pull up the atomic clock with his shortwave radios.
Yeah, more than likely. I thought, let's see, wasn't it at the Naval Observatory?
Yeah.
that's one of them. Yeah. I don't know if that's the one that does GPS, but that's, it might be. I don't know. I think they have multiple clocks for the GPS system. There's not just, I say master clock, but there's not really one. I think it's more of a master consensus.
They're accurate enough to where they're all of them are in like a network. They're all linked. They all have the same time.
When China built the Three Gorges Dam, it changed the way the Earth rotates. It put too much weight on that side of the planet. And they literally had to change all the atomic clocks at some minuscule amount of time just because that damn dam got built.
Slowed the Earth's rotation. Yeah, the day is something like 2.5 milliseconds long, or 2.5 nanoseconds longer than it was before they built the dam.
Something like that.
And with the GPS, that makes a difference.
Well, when you're talking about atomic, velocity, or I wish I could remember exactly how. I know it has something to do with the way the protons work, or something like that. Spin of the protons, something like that. So it's always accurate.
The
planet's not. Yeah, the atoms are correct, but the planet's not. So.
Yeah, a few years ago when when they had that Japan earthquake, they had to change the clocks.
Oh yeah,
the big tsunami.
Yeah.
And now every clock in Japan is an atomic clock, whether they wanted it to be or not.
Yeah.
It gives a whole new meaning to radium dials, huh?
Hey, the man said it best. Time is relative to the observer.
Yep. Now, John, they actually went deep sea looking for the fault of that the Japan earthquake, and they found it where the earthquake was. The ocean floor at the fault line. They're not sure if it raised or lowered, but there's 30-foot drop.
Probably both. It probably raised part and lowered the other part.
That's why there was so much water. Probably raised on the Japan side.
Wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter because it would propagate up and go both directions, kind of like an explosion.
Mm-hmm. It just had more time to die down before it got anywhere close to us.
Well, Japan was in the way.
Yeah.
Hey, I blame Godzilla. Prove me wrong. Think about it. It was in the ocean. There was an earthquake. There was a tsunami. There was a nuclear plant involved. Godzilla. That's all I got to say.
And you just plotted
Monster
out
Island
movies.
And that's exactly what Carl just said. It wasn't Godzilla. It was Mothra, damn it.
I am trying to lose a little weight, so I'm cutting down on beer.
Oh, now they're going to have to change them damn clocks again.
Yep. This is my first beer of the evening.
I was going to say, John's sitting there saying, I'm cutting down on beer as he has a beer in his hand.
Yeah, well.
First one of the day. and it's $9.20. So that's.
Is it a light beer?
No, it is not. I'm not that desperate. I have this bad habit of when I start cooking, I start drinking beer. And by the time the meal is done, I've already been through 3 or 4 beers before I even sit down to eat. So.
Yeah, I have that problem on weekends, not with when I start cooking, but when I.
Oh, God help me if I fire up a grill.
Oh no!
It takes me a 6-pack to get the grill going good.
When I get through my second cup of coffee, the next one is usually a beer. Thankfully, I save it on the weekends when I don't have to go anywhere.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm tired of getting these defective bottles. Okay.
There's not enough in them?
No, there's a hole in the top. Beer keeps coming out.
But it depends on where it's going.
Larry and Evan came up with a great idea for some of his stories. He's got just a regular crystal drinking glass, but there's a teleport unit in the base of it, so it refills itself as you drink.
Do you remember you used to go into the diner and they had the little remote for the jukebox on the table? We had one in Chattanooga called help me out, Joe.
The what?
The diner with the shrimp up on Cherokee Boulevard.
Nikki's.
Mickey's. You used to go in there.
In peace.
They had a jukebox, and then every table had the little remote unit for the jukebox.
The little pizza diner at the Choo Choo had that at one time.
And that was a digital one, though. This one actually, I mean, chrome and steel, and glass, pretty light.
Like a Rockola.
And but the idea I liked, and I can't remember what sci-fi movie it was where they had this. I have to find that book again. But they had the device. It was like it looked kind of like a jukebox, but it was a mini replicator, and that's where your drinks came out. Oh, wait, I do remember the book now. It's The Two Faces of Tomorrow.
Oh, I remember that title.
Hang on a second. I've got it in my on-hand collection.
Well, while you're talking about that, Dan, let you know I'm going to be having a fire night real soon, fire pit night. The plan is ignition to be about 5. Then I'm going to relight it about 5:30. Gas will be applied to the fire about 5:45. I'll be putting out the leaves and the brush around 5:45 and 20 seconds. And
fire department will show up just shortly after 6.
And we'll have s'mores.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, well, yeah. James P. Hogan.
James P. Hogan. No wonder I remembered it.
I like to give credit where credit's due.
He was. I think he's passed away now. Very good writer. I like the Giants series. Although the 4th book made it get a little bit weird, but he was exploring a brand new thing called the internet and virtual reality in that one. So,
yes, James died in 2010. Just short of his 70th birthday, and he was Irish.
Yes.
Oh, I'm quite sure that had nothing to do with it.
He probably suffered from the same problem I have, that his bottle has a hole in the top of it and everything keeps coming out.
Oh, I sort of think I've earned a badge of honor today in Uncle Carl's Secret Humor Group.
What did you do this time?
I'm afraid to look.
You should be. Be very afraid.
Even Carl goes, "Yep, that was too much."
Oh.
Well, Richie, how did dinner go?
Oh, pretty good. I'm probably going to pop back out for a couple moments as soon as Misty gets home to say hello to her. after she got home from a hard day of work.
Yeah, Rich is looking for it. I can tell Rich is looking for it.
Actually, no. Right now, I'm just making sure that likes get applied to the show in both YouTube and on Facebook. I've got no problem gaming the system.
John, you had the Grinch in your background a little while ago, or maybe backstage. Yeah. I think I met him earlier today at Walmart. And I know I'm lagging a little bit on here, but I'll tell you briefly what happened. In a very long line, and the person in front of me kept looking at his watch and kind of mumbling under his breath, and he's back and forth, real fidgety. And he finally turns around and he looks at me and he says, I wish I know who started this whole damn Christmas thing. There's something I'd like to tell him. And the guy in front of him turned around and looked at him and said, oh, don't worry, they already crucified him. And the guy just froze right there. And the guy that said that looked at me and smiled. And I leaned forward and I shook the guy's hand and I said, you know, that's the best thing I've heard all day. And he said, well, I just got tired of saying Jesus is the reason for the season. And I'm like, that's a very unique one. And but the Grinch guy, he did not say, we all three of us stood in line for another 5 minutes and he did not say another word the whole time.
Bill, I'm throwing down the gauntlet. You have got to make a meme about that. You're an artist. It is a moral imperative now. You have to make a meme.
All I needed to do was take pictures with my cell phone. I mean, this guy, he just, he didn't have the green skin. But
disassemble it, reassemble it in his dorm room. It's a moral imperative.
Oh, and on that note, I'm going to go down the hall now that down the hall works, and I don't have to go out to the patio.
You know, students aren't allowed to park in the corner.
Second tree to the right, Dan.
Second tree to the right, straight on till. Never mind.
My mom does the same thing to my underwear. Your mom puts license plates in your underwear? How do you say?
Hey, do they still make Jiffy Pop?
Yeah.
Yes. This, for instance, was filed under H for toy.
I got thinking about that the other night. We were talking about popcorn. And of course, everybody has, microwave popcorn. I got thinking about that. Do they make Jiffy Pop anymore? Is it the aluminum thing that, that's...
Yeah, they still make it. You can buy 24 packs of microwave popcorn for what one Jiffy Pop costs.
I just saw Jiffy Pop. I just saw that in Walmart today.
Oh, did you? Okay. Because I got thinking, and my engineer brain kicked in, and I'm like, wait a minute. I wonder how they got the aluminum foil to fold down like that. I mean, just, it's twisted, spiraled. And I'm like, wonder what I could, I wonder if I could build one of those. Just get me, I've got aluminum pie pans, for just disposable pie pans. And I'm like, I wonder how you could make the aluminum foil thing. I don't think I can do it because all I've got right now is heavy duty aluminum foil. But I'm pretty sure if I went and got the thin food grade stuff, like, excuse me, you can buy the aluminum foil that comes in the pull out sheets. You don't have to cut it. and it's specifically designed for like wrapping a pie.
There you go, John.
Is that one? How many is
That's
that?
3. A pack of 3.
They only have 3 left in stock.
That's Amazon.
See, I'm old enough to remember when Jiffy Pop came out
Yeah, I do too.
because my grandma used to get out the big pot, oil, a little bit of butter, throw the popcorn in out of the. It used to come in a bag, like bag of beans.
Yep.
Popcorn. Put the lid on it, and I can remember she got a brand new pan that had a glass lid. We were all sitting around in chairs and little step ladders and stuff, looking down inside the pot, watching the popcorn pop up and leave butters and oil splatters all over the glass.
And you still burn it.
Yeah, I think you might have crossed a few state lines there, Joe.
What? Oh,
Let's put it this way: I don't think they'd make a movie out of that.
That was a crappy post.
yeah.
But he had to run with it.
There you go. There you go, John. There's your Walmart price for one.
We'll bring it up. $2.18 ain't bad.
No, but they were charging 16 for 3.
Yeah, but that's a 4.5 ounce. I wonder how big the other ones were.
The other ones?
Yeah. How big are those?
4.5.
Oh, same thing.
Yeah.
No, wait a minute. Is that 3?
That's for 3.
I'm having
Amazon's a little cheaper than a little steeper than Walmart.
Yeah.
somebody trying to make some money.
Yeah.
And you still got to pay shipping too, I bet.
No, I'd probably include.
Not if you have Amazon Prime.
Oh, can't think of who the hell would order popcorn online. Well, I here I am telling everybody they need to start doing their Christmas shopping online.
Well, when we order the microwave packs online when we're ordering our groceries.
Yeah. Lindsay gets the cat food and the dog food online, and catnip. The company that does just pet supplies, basically. Although she's been really disappointed with the delivery drivers here lately. The last one evidently dropped the box at the head of the driveway, toted it down, set it in a mud puddle right outside the screen door in the rain, and spilled cans of cat food all the way down the driveway.
Is that the one that parked in the yard to unload?
No, that was somebody different. They turned around in the wrong part of the yard, yeah, and had to go out there. She had to go out there because I had to go to work the next day. So while I was at work, she went out with a shovel and filled in the trench that he left when he peeled out of the, you know. Oh.
Yeah, if somebody drives through my
Well,
yard.
I know this isn't grocery. Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, Bill. You're lagged. Every time you think we're paused, we've already gone on to something else. But
Really?
but if you start talking, we'll hush and let you finish. You don't have to interrupt yourself all the time.
But let's all raise red flags every time we go to. What was it? You had to hold a feather every time it was your turn to talk. But no, this is not groceries, but having to get boxes to put eBay stuff in that I sell. and I need various sizes and that. I was looking for the best thing, and I'll tell you, Uline is a real good, if you need various size boxes. Of course, they sell everything. They sell janitorial supplies. They just everything under the sun. You can get your favorite. Somebody's murdering somebody's dog, I think.
That sounded
But
like
you can get, yeah. You can get your favorite college sweatshirts or t-shirts there, but I get packs of 25, whether it be like 4x4 boxes, 6x6s, whatever, and it basically amounts to about 41 cents a box, I think, for the 4x4s. I pay $7 in shipping, and it's not like altogether it's like 10 or 11 bucks, and they do it UPS grounds. So if I put in an order today, it'll be here tomorrow. Cheap shipping.
Who do you? Who's your main shipping provider? Who do you drop it off with to ship?
Post office.
It
depends on the package, but 99% I do post office.
Go to USPS online. You can order your priority mail boxes. They're free, and they ship them to you free.
That's it. Yeah, I've done that before if I have to do priority mail, but I would say about 90%, and I just got done listing something today that's going to be priority, but 90% of what I sell basically is USPS first class, so it's under £1. And these boxes from Uline are the 32 ECT, so they're good corrugated cardboard. I know Laura one time bought something off of somebody on eBay. It was supposed to be a certain type of box that, they refer to it as a shipping box. So if it's a shipping box, it's got to be able to withstand so much. She got the boxes in. She could just about push her thumbprint through the box. It was so thin. It was just about paper thin.
That happens sometimes, yeah. If I don't need very many boxes, I can get one or two from work that they keep a pallet of them there for when one of the big testing companies comes in and they cut samples to send off to their lab to make sure our QC people are actually not fudging numbers or whatever. It's sort of like Underwriters Laboratories, but it's for industries.
Now, Bill, you do know liquor stores have good boxes too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They got the best boxes.
They got a whole liquid weight, yeah, and glass.
I have the majority of the stuff from my last move, Joe.
Yeah.
Laura supplied me with the boxes from Benny's Beverage Depot, so they're super heavy duty boxes, and the majority of them have the little handles in them. And that, hey, I'm gonna back out, reboot, and come back in and see if that'll fix my lag on there.
Right.
I'll be right back.
Sometimes it helps.
Hey, Bill,
He's gone.
He'll hear you when he comes back.
no, well, he said he had the Microsoft update. That may be why he's lagging.
Had what?
Could be.
He had his
Microsoft update.
Well, I think he uses tablet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is an Android or if it's an Apple product. I'm not. I think it's a Android, or he's using his phone. Oh.
Uh-oh. Edward's singing to us.
Okay.
It's
Thank you, Carl.
Android. Okay. Oh, I see your armed Santa back there. Have you seen Fat Man, haven't you?
No, I have not.
Or Mel Gibson is Santa
The Mel
Claus?
Gibson one? Yeah, no, I haven't seen
That's a good one.
Hello, Chris.
Santa Claus is a secret agent. And they figure out who he is.
Hiya, Chris. And let's see.
One of the best lines of the movie, it's closer to the beginning of it. Santa comes in, he's bleeding out the side, and she goes, "Oh, what kind of trouble did you get into this time?" He goes, "What? No trouble. Some kid took a pot shot at me with a 22.
Oh.
Can you hear me better now, or
the,
am I still talking like a Japanese movie?
Oh, your voice always matched your lips. It was just about 5 minutes behind the conversation.
Hopefully not that long, but no, I backed out entirely. And I don't know what it might just be Wi-Fi. And I heard John say my name just before I backed out, but I had already hit the button.
I was going to tell you, the Microsoft update may be causing you to have lag.
Could be.
It takes stuff away until you get the update. It says, "Hey, there's an update."
What is the new Santa? Bad.
There's an update.
Not bad.
You can't do anything until you do this update.
Yeah.
You okay, Joe?
2 Taco Bell 7-layer nacho fried burritos and a Mountain Dew Zero.
Would you get a contract with Elon Musk for methane?
No.
Too bad. That's a missed opportunity he's losing out on right now.
Silent Night is the name of the Santa Claus movie.
Yep. I've seen the ads for it. Now,
All right. Okay. Die Hard. Christmas movie or action movie?
Yes.
Halloween.
What about Gremlins? Christmas movie or horror movie?
Yes.
American Motors Corporation.
No. Oh, it was the one somebody said Rambo was a Christmas movie because when they go in the police station, there's a Christmas tree in the background.
That doesn't make a Christmas movie. I'm sorry.
It's got to be themed around Christmas. And Die Hard was themed around Christmas. It was a Christmas party.
Office Christmas party. There. Even had Christmas presents.
Batman Returns then was a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I can see it.
Have y'all ever seen Hogfather? The one from the Terry Pratchett novel? Ooh, BBC production. It's like 4 hours long, but they played it 2 parts. Part 1 one night, part 2 the next night. It's Terry Pratchett, so I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Before I forget, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
I had something I figured you in particularly would be interested, being into the music, and if Chris was, I guess Chris is out there, he'd be interested. Yeah, last Friday at the auction, I got a bunch of vintage vinyl. Ted Nugent, Cheap Trick in color, Hotel California Eagles. But look what else I got.
Oh,
original 1972.
That is absolutely
And what does
crazy.
everybody always say when they see this album?
Does it still
They
have
say,
the rolling
man,
paper?
if I still had the...
It's still. Oh, it's intact. Oh, you got to put that one in some glass somewhere. Oh, don't pull it out. There's only one outcome.
Oh, I've already did before, but I'm very careful. So it's all there. This person kept this in the album. And of course, you hold it this way, you see the Cheech and Chong, and then you see their pictures and that. They kept this in the album the whole time. That's why it's in such good shape. Go on eBay or WorthPoint or one of those places and see how much these things are going for, and you would not believe. Now, this cover... It's got some of the typical vinyl album wear, and a little bit on the back.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, you know, it's all there. The album itself, if I can pull it out, this thing looks like it's never been played. Beep 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 beep.
I'm trying to find the name of it.
And yeah, this is, I mean, and this has all the classics. Sister Mary Elephant, which I had the 45 of that one. Ralph and Herbie, Let's Make a Dope Deal, Un-American Bandstand, just all the classics. So.
Oh, I remember when they actually did
anyway.
American Bandstand. That was a fun Saturday. Dave's not here, man. Somebody saying something bad about Rob.
That was the Dave's Not Here one was actually the B-side of Basketball Jones, because I had that 45 too.
Oh. Now, I remember when that album was brand new, and against my advice, that paper was pulled out and utilized for its intended purpose.
Yep. If I can get it over.
I knew it was going
where is it?
I knew
there
it was going to be a collector's item.
Yep.
But they wouldn't take my advice. Made the party interesting, though. More interesting, rather.
I knew people who did the very same thing that you're mentioning, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
How much did you pay for that, Bill?
Well, I actually bought a whole stack of albums for $7. So I got this one. I got Dixie Chicken, Little Feet, Strangle. The Ted Nugent album was Stranglehold. Hi, Zach. And In Color by Cheap Trick. Steppenwolf's Greatest Hits.
That's a good one.
Scorpions, the album that had Rock You Like a Hurricane, and one other one. There were 7 altogether. So basically, I paid $1 an album. for it. Now, there's one other album that I did not get that I wished I did. Playboy magazine had a box set that had 33 1/3 albums that had like a whole history of classic rock music. And this set came out in the early mid 70s. It was never meant to be sold. It was meant to be sent to radio stations where Playboy would actually sponsor this program. And then within this album box set, there's an envelope in there with a spreadsheet, and it has the whole outline of where you would go in for commercial breaks, and when you're introducing Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley in the comments, this is what you're going to say before it or what you're going to say after it, the whole thing. And I really wanted to get that because it just, it was never meant for sale, but I didn't get that lucky.
Oh.
And I saw Zach in there. Zach, I think you're how I found that video of SN24 Static Fire.
Oh, it's all over the news right now too.
Yeah.
It's all over on Microsoft.
Ooh.
That and they had a minor malfunction with an F-35B. Apparently, the Marine pilot had trouble landing it, had to eject out.
Yes.
They don't call those 0-0 ejection seats for nothing. He was trying to land, bounced, and when he tried to recover it and put it back down on the ground, it went down nose first. So the plane flipped over onto one wing and was bouncing all over the place. He shot and it shot him straight up in the air and deployed his chute.
But he still hit hard. Rich, this is what I was talking about. That is absolutely the most amazing static fire test I've ever seen in my
I
life.
wonder why they painted that thing black. Is that the heat?
That's the heat shield.
Okay.
That's the heat shield.
Yeah, actually, there's a guy in the Larry Nevin chat group that is his job. He works at a place that makes ejection seats, and he has to stand there with a control panel in his hand and test them at a distance, not sitting in them, but make sure
that takes all the fun out of it.
Make sure that everything goes off so that they know which standards to use to get everything on the ones that don't get tested.
Yeah, Mr. Sullivan has an update on the he broke both hands and can't eat crayons for 6 to 8 weeks.
I'm wondering how he broke his hands. It must have been the landing.
Pulled the freaking handle out. So scared.
Well, the thing is, that's just it. When you pull that handle out, it's designed. I'm not sure which one the F-35 has. There's two versions. One, you reach between the legs and pull the handle. And two, there's the one where the handle's back here on the back of the seat. And when you pull it forward, it pulls this little shield out over your glass. Hey, Mom.
What? What? Do I look like a mom to you? Get out of here.
Hey, Mom. How you doing?
Well, what was that?
That's just weird.
It was a movie where somebody was fixing to take a ride in the one of the Blue Angels or whatever, and the guy said, "If you hear me say eject, 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 reach down and pull that thing between your legs. If you say what, you're talking to yourself."
Why did the Intruders they did that too? They had to take two of the planes into Subic Bay, and the doc was going with them.
Yeah, that was it. Flight of the Intruder.
And,
I have no idea what just happened.
The S6 or the A6 Intruder, they sit side by side. So he looks at the guy and says, "We have to eject out." Says, "You pull that handle right there." When I say eject, 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 you reach down, pull that handle. Says, "If you stay here long enough to ask what, you'll be here by yourself."
Yeah. That's. I think they say eject after they pull the handle.
On the way out.
From what I understand, there's actually two. You got to flip a switch first, and then pull the handle. But I might be wrong. That might be wrong. It might be different aircraft.
You know, the trouble
And
with
different
trying to idiot-proof something is that humanity has been genetically breeding for better idiots for 2 million years.
They do. You know, some people just don't realize they're grabbing the handle. That's just what was it? The French pilot took some news reporter up with, or something like that. And he was they were going down the runway. He was trying to get situated to see if the buttons all strapped, and they're sitting here lining, getting ready to take off on the runway. Boom! He shot himself out the plane.
Nice Santa Claus look there, John. Nice Santa Claus look. You trying to grow the beard out like Santa Claus and George C. Scott and Scrooge or something, whatever you're doing?
I'm thinking about it.
You look good, buddy. All of us
He's being Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, yeah. You know, I just rewatched the Santa Claus for the first time in like 30,000 years. It's a good movie. Good movie. Haven't seen the sequels or the
Have you seen the movie Spirited yet, Ryan?
Which one?
Spirited?
No.
The Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell?
Oh, that one? No. I don't like either one of those actors very much, really. Especially Ryan Reynolds. He gives Ryan's a bad name because when I look at Ryan Reynolds, I don't see Ryan Reynolds. All I see is a pathetic excuse for a character from comic books called Deadpool. I could care less about Deadpool. Deadpool can get the heck out of Dodge. I don't want to see his face again. But I'll tell you this, though, Joe Dog. It's good to see you. John, good to see you. Dan, good to see you. Artwork of Bill Sarton, one of the best, most underrated artists in this country. Bill, it
checks in the mail.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Rich, I don't know if you and I have been on a stream before, but it's good to meet you there, buddy boy. You got your Scruff McGruff growing over there? Yeah, you got your holiday look, too. So, good to see you, fine gentlemen. It's been too long. I know you've been begging and pleading and talking to the executives and the network and everyone. When's the big man going to come back? When is Ryan going to come back? Well, it's the holiday season. 'Tis better to give than receive. So, there's your gift, fellas. I'm back, at least for a little bit.
You.
A friend of mine is going to be calling me here any minute, and we're going to be chit-chatting. So, I don't know how long you got me for here, Danny boy, but Dan, it is so good to see you.
Oh, thank you. You know, there is an open invitation. You can show up any night we're on the show.
Well, that's great. It's just I haven't had really much to talk about since I have a really pathetic, boring life. You guys have adventurous, invigorative lives where I'm just sitting here waiting for the dryer to go off. You know?
Hey, come and visit in Georgia. I'll teach you some plumbing and some some carpentry and.
Yeah, I should go.
We got loads to do.
Didn't the devil go down to Georgia? Yeah, Chris, good to see you. I saw Carl Witzman chatted in. He said, that's Ryan. Yes, Carl, it is Ryan, because that's me. And hey, Carl, good to see you. See? There you go. There's
You see him?
Movie quote.
I can't see him.
I see Carl. He's right over there in the chat. And he says hi.
I see his name.
Oh, you don't see him? He's there somewhere.
Now, what was that? What was that last?
Oh, I see his forehead.
What was that?
Chris says you don't have to have subject matter to be on this show, Rye Guy. Well,
That's right.
You know, it's just
We haven't yet.
Hey,
yeah.
look at Last Man Standing. There's supposed to be a script, a subject,
I
rails.
thought there was.
Oh, come on. I had subject matter. Come on.
Dan, didn't you text me the script last week when I was talking to you about it? No, never mind.
No.
Carl says, okay, I'm going back to calling him Mr. Permanent. Carl, man, it's been too long. Chris, it's so good to see you as well. Gosh, on top of that old rise that you could time it. Yeah, it's true.
I got all my script on here.
Is that a Garfield notebook?
Yes, it is.
I like Garfield. You know, I grew up watching.
And this is another Garfield notebook. And this is another Garfield notebook. How many do you want?
Better. I'd say you were a big fan of that fat cat who likes to eat lasagna every morning. Man.
Last time I had 3 of those, I wrote a book in them. Well, an outline.
No kidding.
Yeah, each little page of the notebook turned into 4 pages of outline, turned into 20 pages of typing when I got started writing it.
Wow, Dan, that is. I was unaware of that. You know, I actually ventured into something this year called writing myself, Dan.
Oh yeah,
I wrote a short story this year, the first one I ever written. Yeah.
well,
I'm in the process of going back and revising it, but it went well. I'm happy with it. It's a western. It's a short story, so it's a shorter story format. It's not like this big long 20 million word thing because I'm not writing a book. But I am writing a short story. It's a western, and it's set in the late 1860s, I think it is. And yeah, I'm excited. So it's so far so good, and I left the first story on a cliffhanger, which means I got to write a part 2 because you don't want to leave the audience hanging like this. So I'm going to write a sequel next year.
first time.
Yeah.
Does it got a name?
Does it have a name? Yes, it does. There is a title for the story. It is called Outlaw of Virtue. Outlaw of Virtue. Yeah.
And there is still a good market for westerns.
Okay. Well, there you go. So I'm happy I wrote this then because it's at 3,000 words. So we'll see what happens.
That's a good length for.
It is. Well, maybe I'll
story.
throw it. Maybe it'll be published in an anthology someday. You never know.
Hey,
The world needs another Zane Grey and Louis L'Amour because we don't have Zane Grey and Louis L'Amour anymore to write theirs.
Yeah.
and I've got to admit, every time I try starting to write a western, it turns into steampunk real quick.
Ooh.
It's just something I do. And for me, that's an easy genre to write in.
I've had this idea in the back of my mind for years and years and years, Dan, and I finally decided, you know what? I'm going to put this thing on paper and see where it takes me. And now
That's what you do.
So, yeah. So we'll see what happens next year. I got to finish the revisions, and then I got to go through it a couple more times and make sure it's good and sharp, and I want to present it and whatever it is, and then I'll see where the road takes me. Maybe we'll get published. I don't know. I have to go through some lessons because this is my first time writing anything, so I got to learn the ropes and know where I should publish it and where I shouldn't, and then we'll see what happens.
Yep. My advice.
I was going to ask you if you had a publisher yet.
I don't.
Yeah, editing is always the hardest part of writing anything.
It is.
But my advice on submitting it would be to look and see who's buying westerns.
Sure. Yeah.
And read their submission guidelines very carefully. Even if they're different from one company to another, you're using a word processor. You can always change it to their format. They get stuff that they don't have to change to their format. So if they want courier type, put it in there.
If you don't follow submission guidelines, it goes into the garbage pile, not in the slush pile, the garbage pile, because if you can't follow directions, they don't want to deal with you.
Okay. Yep. Fair enough. Oh, look, man, now everybody's curious about what I've been doing with my life these last 6 months.
Well,
it's what happens when you're gone.
And hello, Keisha.
And hello, Keisha. Good to see you too. And who else was in there? Edward Sullivan is here. Donna Carlene says hello, Ryan. Good to see you too, Donna. Hope everything's well with you. Ryan has joined the crazy world of us writers. Oh, God. Oh, I know. I thought I was going to write one story. I had this idea for this one story, but I left it on a cliffhanger, and I'm like, dang it, Hollywood's going to want a sequel. So I got to write the sequel. I got to write part 2. I got to end this thing. Hopefully I can end it. Or maybe I'll continue it. I don't know.
Well, Ryan, and sorry about the lag on my end, Ryan, but I got one story that I wrote and submitted it, and it is already going to be in a book, but it's my story, my little short story, extra short story, is going to be in Wendy Lou Lee's next book. She is the actress who played Baby Grace on Little House on the Prairie. She came out with a book last year. It was called Little House Prairie Devotional, and this one is going to be a different format. It's going to be a lot of uplifting stories and stuff, and that's the reason why she asked me for my story. That is actually a true story about me. After all my family, my immediate family had passed away, mother, father, brother, grandfathers, and grandmothers. But anyway, and mine's not going to be the only one in there. There's going to be some other ones in there too. But
Wow.
I guess we all get credited for it. And she's doing the whole editor thing right now, back and forth. And they changed a few things on there. But there's the last she had commented on it. It's supposed to be out sometime next year. So I was hoping it would be out this year, so it would be nice Christmas gifts to give out to the people that were involved in my story. But yeah, but I'm not a writer. You know, I can't put a pen in my hand and write my name. I can draw, you know, but I can't write my name. And so I'm not a writer, and so it was the most difficult thing for me to do, to try to do it, because what I wrote and I sent to Wendy, then she would say, well, tell me more about this, punch this up a little bit more and do this and do this. And I'm like, oh,
That's
you
a
know,
good editor.
and
That's a good editor.
that's a good editor or slave driver or whatever you want to call her. But no, she's not a slave driver. She's a very, very warm, affectionate, kind human being, and I'm happy to say she's my friend, and that she would reach out to me to do this. But that'll be the only time on this earthly plane that you'll see anything with my name on it, like in that form. You know, I'll illustrate books left and right for people, but don't ask me to write a story.
Donna's got a good point. Donna's got a good point here. It always starts with the one story, then it catches fire right as a virus. Yeah, you know, because honestly, Donna,
I've got to disagree.
I'd say it's more of an addiction.
It's a mental illness.
Yes,
It is, seriously.
It is.
And as somebody who suffers from it, let me tell you, there is medication, but it doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't.
It's just, look, you know,
I had a plan for a one.
You just stagger around and look at walls.
Yeah, I had a plan for a one and done, Donna. And as soon as I got towards the end of the story and I put my character in a situation where he is going to need some help getting out of this thing, I realized, this thing isn't going to end the way I thought it was. This is going to have to be a two-parter, if not a three-parter, if I'm going to wrap this story up about this character, because the story focuses on one character, but there are other supporting characters involved, as there are in every story anyway. So it's like, this is going to be so much for doing one and done. 3,000 words. I was done, right? No, you're not. You're just getting started, kid.
Yeah, a lot of times they go off in different directions than you don't plan, and I want to end here, and you end up over here, and you're like, hell.
Well, yeah, he's in a bit of a pickle, as they say, and my character has to find a way out of it, and he's working with an unlikely partner to figure this out. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this is going to be either comical disaster, or it could be funny but yet adventurous for the reader and the writer at the same time. So we'll see where the chips fall. My revisions are still in the process of being done, Donna, just so we're clear. I have not done them all yet. I got to sit down at my computer at one point during the holidays when things settle down and actually do it. And then once the revisions are done, I got to send it back to my people who are giving me the feedback and be like, okay, how does this look now? And then la-di-da-di-da. But thanks for all the comments, guys. You're all asking me what the story's about, where does it take place, all that, because someone said, where does the story take place? Well, the story starts in Casper, Wyoming. Okay? So it's the Old West. We're going way back. It's like I think I said it was 1860s, but I think I'm gonna switch that up to 1880s. Yeah. So it's around the 1880s, whatever it is, and that's where it goes. So we'll see. Yes, I have never seen Desperado, Edward, but Pale Rider is a good film. That is a good film. I like that film. I like Outlaw Josie Wales. It's got elements of that. I was inspired by the Western genre of filmmaking, which definitely includes someone named Clint Eastwood. What kind of stupid name is that? I think he's the run of the litter. Take a look at his pearly whites. Anyway, that's a line from Back to the Future Part 3, which I've been watching religiously for the last few weeks. Sue me, Dan. Sue me.
I'm not going to sue you. I
No,
like the Back to the Future
I love
movie.
that movie. I love that movie. So, yeah, I've watched too many Westerns, and I've had this idea in my head even a little before I started watching the Western genre, and then I'm like, yeah, I think I want to write something now. So we'll see what happens. I did it because it was National Novel Writing Month last month, and everyone was writing stuff, and my local library was having webinars on how to put together a story for National Novel Writing Month. So I attended all 5 webinars, and each webinar they discussed a different topic that relates to how you write the story. For instance, they did one on dialogue, they did one on characters, they did one on the closing. And I thought to myself, I'm going to attend all these and see where it goes. And then they talk about it for 30 minutes, and then they give you an hour and a half to write. So that's when I went to my computer and just started writing like a crazy horse. And that is it. Sorry, Dan. I'm just going off on a weird tangent.
No.
This is how my writing journey has started, guys. So fasten thy seatbelts. It's going to be a bloody bumpy ride.
I had a fellow who was doing a series, a shared universe series, and one of the other writers ran into some personal difficulties and could not turn his story in on time. And the series editor emailed me and asked if I had anything that I could throw in there that would keep from having just a blank spot in the schedule. So I was at work, and it just so happened that I had to fill in for somebody whose job is basically data entry once an hour. Job takes 15 minutes. You walk around, you count stuff, you come back, you type the numbers in the computer, you wait 45 minutes and do it again. I wrote a 10,000 word story that night.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's 7,000 more than what yours truly wrote. And that took me 5 weeks to write those 3,000 words.
It took me 12 hours.
Well, that's, in the words of our good friend Vader of Darth, impressive.
And what makes it more impressive is I was getting paid for the entire time I was doing it too. So I was at work, and yeah, as long as I didn't miss that hourly count, the other 45 minutes every hour was mine to do with as I pleased.
Really? You know what? 2 thumbs up for the big man known as Dan. By the way, Chris Walker just said, I may know someone who knows a publisher who specializes in Westerns. Chris, if you know something that I should know, hit me up in the DMs, man.
Yeah.
Any of you people who are writers and have way more experience than this nugget, send me some tips in the DMs. I don't mind them at all, because this is a whole new world. Which, by the way, congratulations, Aladdin, you turned 30.
Well, you also know lots of people that have their own editing businesses too.
Yeah. So, is that your way of winking at the camera there, Dan? Yeah, I hear.
Oh, no. I was thinking of Michaela and Carl and Donna.
Yes. Oh, that's right, Michaela Jade. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And get in touch with Michaela. She would know a thing or two, because she runs a show called Tips and whatever. What's it called? Michaela's
Tidbits and Scribbles.
Tidbits and Scribbles. Thank you. I keep forgetting the flipping name. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Man,
don't forget Carl and Donna. They do it too.
I thought Ryan was going to say something really bad there for a second.
No. I keep my language PG most of the time I'm on the show, because you never know who's going to be watching, Dan. So I try to be proper.
Yep.
Okay, Sin.
Michaela's show is for all audiences. You just have to have an interest in writing for it.
That's a fair point. By the way,
Chris are actually off to Donna for editing.
By the way, Dan, there's a really funny comment here in the chat. Chris Walker says, as long as no one dies of dysentery, but just west of the Kansas River. That is a great reference to the computer game Oregon Trail that I played so many times as a youngling in elementary school, Chris. I kid you not. But no one in my story has died of dysentery. It's not west of the Kansas River. Yeah, so the people have died in my story, but they haven't died through a disease.
True story. A lot of people did die of dysentery during the Civil War, which you said that you were originally going to set your story in that time frame. And Sarah Heiser out there in the chat, who I'm related to, will probably maybe know of this letter that my grandmother got a copy of. A relative of ours that worked at a Confederate prison camp in southern Indiana who used to write to his wife a lot, he had died of dysentery while working. He was not a Confederate soldier. We had it on both sides of our family, being where our family's from. But anyway, he was a guard or something like that at that prison camp, and he actually died of dysentery there because conditions were so bad back then. And that, so it was fairly common.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's going to make an appearance necessarily in my story, but a lot of people have died in my. A lot of people have died in my story, but it has nothing to do with dysentery. It has something to do with, as Biff Tannen puts it, lead poisoning. There's been some shootings. There's been some murders. There's been murders in self-defense, by the way. So not all of these are just, oh, I'm just putting these in the story for a shoot 'em up sequence. No. I do it because my character has to, because it's self-defense. Okay?
It was justifiable homicide. Or
Dan.
In the South, Your Honor, he needed killing.
My character does this because it's self-defense, guys. That's what my character does in this story. By the way, the character's name is
I'll be right
David,
back.
just so we're clear, okay? So the main character's name is David.
Funny you should mention this, because my favorite Western of all time is Monty Walsh.
You know, I've never seen that.
There's two of them. There's the original one with Lee Marvin and Jack Palance.
Oh,
and then
Jack
they did another
Jack
one.
Palance is in that?
Yeah, he played.
I love Jack Palance.
Okay. And then the other one, Tom Selleck did it with.
Really?
What's John Carradine?
Oh, you mean Keith Carradine?
Keith Carradine. Thank you.
Keith Carradine. Yeah, I know who he is. I'd be willing to watch those.
David's brother.
It's funny you mentioned, because strangely enough, it was west of the Kansas River.
Oh, shoot.
His girlfriend dies of tuberculosis.
Ooh.
And there are quite a few cases of lead poisoning.
Yeah, there's lead poisoning in my story for sure.
They didn't call it tuberculosis back in those days. They called it consumption. That's what Doc Holliday died of.
Well, now,
the
thing is, though, this is this Western takes place after the 1900s.
Oh, okay.
It's like the end of the Western era.
So
that's the whole premise of the story.
Way after it.
So they may have actually started calling it tuberculosis by then.
Really? Edward asked a question earlier. He says, "Is there a railroad involved in Ryan's story?" I mean, I could. I've involved horseback because that's how some people got around for transportation purposes. But I could involve the railroad at some point. I don't know. I haven't planned out the sequel yet, guys. I still have to do my revisions on the first one to make sure it makes sense. So after I'm done the first one, then I can sit down and figure out, hey, am I going to take my character further south? Is he going to end up in the railroad business somewhere along those lines? Is he going to just go straight to the border of Mexico and leave everything behind? I don't know, because his goal right now is to get as far away from the what is it called? The inciting incident, like the one that starts it is the inciting incident. Is that what it's called?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so the incident that starts in Casper, Wyoming, takes him further south. So the further south that he gets, the more he's trying to get to Mexico and cross the border and just ride off into the sunset. But right now, he's in a position where he can't do that because he's in a situation that I won't go into because I don't want to give away spoilers. And he has to figure out a way out of it. And then we can go into where he's going to go after that. So there's a lot going on, guys. Just give me a break. But thank you for the advice,
well, just
guys.
do your homework. If you're going to involve a railroad in your sequel, or even
I got to look at maps and see where the railroad was at that point.
Oh yeah,
and see, not only see what railroads were or where they were going, but see what they were hauling, because that could play an important part or an interesting part. Not saying that was hauling.
What their travel rate is.
Oh yeah. You pretty much, if you're going to involve a train, you got to know how fast it goes and what the terrain is like, so you know how long it actually took. Because there will be somebody out there that will do the math and say you can't do that in 3 days.
So the question from 9th grade algebra: a train leaves Chicago going west at.
That's why those questions are there.
Yeah.
It's to help riders be able to figure out how fast a vehicle can move.
You keep telling me about these railroad things. Now I don't feel like I want to involve a railroad now because of all all the digging I'd have to do.
Railroads.
Now, one thing that helped me, and it doesn't matter what genre it is.
Yeah, that's true. I got you.
When I had something that had a bunch of characters in them, I made just a separate file with a character list, and if I described them, what they looked like, so I didn't accidentally change their eye color or hair color. It's just one of those niggling little things. And it helps if you give your cowboy a certain weapon and stick to it instead of going different brands back and forth. You don't want to give him a Gabbett Fairfax on one page and then have him pull out a Colt Walker that 2 chapters later.
We were talking about trains a while ago, and one of the things that really blew my mind about the early locomotives, about Civil War time, they could only go about 15 miles. Then they would have to stop and get more water.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware of that.
They would have these water towers every 15 miles.
Oh, so that's why okay, that's all right.
Yep.
Because I've seen them positioned in a way that's like near the right by the train. I'm like, oh, now I get it. Because Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade, he jumped on one and circled around it, and I'm like, why is that water tower awfully close to that locomotive? I don't get it.
Now, later trains.
Same with mail trains, mail towers.
Mail towers, yeah.
Later trains, they started putting the larger coal cars on it. Or, well, when they went from wood to coal, started putting the larger coal cars on it and had a water tank in the coal car, so they would carry more water with them, and those could go a lot farther. But that was post.
And then they used the old water tower tanks for Betty Joe, Bobby Joe, and Billy Joe to swim in.
I am so not looking forward to using a railroad in my sequel now.
Well, Bill, that's how far Hooterville was from Bug Tussle.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to remember. Okay, I'm from Chattanooga area.
Yes.
Everything around Chattanooga is trains and Civil War.
Oh my gosh.
So we got, we're ate up with it.
Oh. Well, he starts in Casper, and then he just goes. He's going south in Arizona. Blah, blah, blah. That's my character anyway. So we'll see what happens, fellas. But yeah, that was probably one of the biggest moments and / highlights of 2022 for this guy right here, as I finally started something called writing. So we'll see where it takes
We're not putting that joke up here, Carrie.
No, we're not.
I was
We're
just
not putting that joke up here.
We're not. We're not doing that. I don't even know who Curry is, but I will say this though, Edward. Edward says you need a so-and-so. A Western almost always has a meaning. I don't know where you're going with that, buddy, but okay. So, I don't get it. But
what? My hands are full. I ain't doing that, folks.
This is what Dan. This is what happens when I show up on your show. I tell a story about how I'm writing a story. Now everyone's giving me all these weird thoughts and things in my head, and I'm just like, okay, now I don't.
Stick to your own script.
Yeah, please. Some of these comments are creeping me out, but not that I don't mind. It's just hey, and you do you.
If you do choose to use a railroad, you don't have to involve the station or anything like that. It depends on what exactly they're going to the train for or using the train for, too.
Maybe he's trying to escape on a train. I don't know.
Yeah, and, there's a lot of hand-waving that can be involved. Look at science fiction, since it is a work of fiction, you can get away with saying, maybe things have changed since then or what have you. It's fiction. Get over it. Just as long as it's not so jarring that it takes somebody out, like somebody pulling out a laser weapon.
Yeah, no.
He rode the train from this town to this town. It took him 3 days to get there. That's fine. Doc Brown turned the train into a flying time machine. It's a different topic.
Yeah, you need to get a little bit more involved with that.
I was going to say, this is more. Yeah. This is strictly a Western. This is not a sci-fi Western that I'm writing.
This is just
sadly, everything I write horror creeps in.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm not writing a sci-fi story that involves like horror elements or anything like that. I can't do it. I'm sticking to my guns.
No zombies. No zombies.
No. It's a grandfather paradox.
No, no. God.
Yeah.
No, what the reason why
He's right.
westerns are
Yeah, no.
still popular? Yeah,
Doc Brown is a grandfather paradox because after he came back, told Marty this is what's going to happen, destroyed the time machine.
Oh yeah.
One of those boys is Doc Brown's father.
You mean Jules and Vern?
Vern. Vern is father. So he's a grandfather paradox.
Wow.
He is his own grandfather.
I was gonna say I didn't compute this because I'm just so used to watching the movies for what they are, and not trying to poke too many holes in the space-time continuum, if you will.
Except for the problem that the kids grew up knowing what a flux capacitor was, and Doc Brown had to invent it in the future.
That's another good point because he didn't invent it till 1955 when he fell off his toilet. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was hanging a clock. The porcelain was wet. I hit my edge of the sink, and after that, I got a revelation, a vision, a picture in my head. This is what makes time travel possible, Dan. The flux capacitor. Flux capacitor. It's taken 30 years of my entire family fortune.
Joe, who was that person that sang that song, "I'm My Own Grandpa"?
Ray Stevens.
I got no clue.
Ray Stevens.
Was it Ray
Maybe
Stevens
it was.
or was it run by the Cat Stevens?
Yeah.
There goes.
Ray Stevens has at least recorded it.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck is going on? What did Chris say 2 seconds ago? Oh, Chris said it's a creative group, Ryan. Yes, the people that I've met through this lockdown process, well, unfortunately with the lockdown, but at the same time, the lockdown did allow me to meet all these incredible writers that I'm friends with on Facebook. So I'll give it credit for that, guys, because look how many writers I've interviewed now on my show. Look how much we've grown. Because I don't know if you know this or not, John, but we are this close to hitting 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel.
Oh wow! I
And
feel lucky to have 13.
No, 13 is a unlucky number there, Danny boy. But I'll say
Not
this:
for me.
once we reach
Not
1,000
for me.
subscribers, Dan, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to throw the biggest party that YouTube has ever seen at Nerd Culture Channel on YouTube. # check out the channel. And secondly, we're going to have some incredible giveaways that you're not going to want to miss out on, folks. So if you want to do something special this holiday season, it's better to give than receive. Give the YouTube channel a subscription and click that bell, because otherwise you won't get notified when our new stuff goes up. Because we got plenty of videos coming your way this weekend, Dan, that I think your audience members will be very excited about.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Dan. And sales pitch here. I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm sorry.
I've read Kiri's next joke, and I'm going, they don't get no better, do they?
No, they don't. And I don't want to. I don't even want to think about Curry's comments because they're really creeping me out back here in this backstage.
He's been hanging around Cindy Kep way too long, and we have to separate those two.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that wonderful individual known as Cindy Kep, which, by the way, you can find her at ckoepp.com, # promote your friends. She is going to be our special guest on Tuesday night's episode of Comic Books The New Class, talking about comics for kids, which includes her new comic, which is an adaptation of her book of the same name, Animal Eye. So you may want to tune in for that, folks. Comic Books The New Class on the YouTube channel, and it's going to drop on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. EST. Cindy Kep is going to be our special guest, and we're going to be talking about Animal Eye and how we can introduce kids to comics, which is a wonderful thing, by the way. So
I got her first Animal Eye comic book from the Kickstarter. I think it was, yeah, and the coffee mug too, I believe.
I got
yeah,
too. I got the single issues, and I got 7 more copies of it that I can pass on to my nieces, my nephews, and other younglings who can be introduced to the wonderful world of reading comics. Because as a wise person once said, Dan, life is better when reading.
I'm sorry, you just sparked off a memory here. I ordered.
What was it? Was it Animal Eye?
No, it was
Dan Blue Fuse.
John B. Pica's John B. Pica's comic.
Oh, the Night Reich, or
no, the one with all the cryptids.
Is that something at a night at the Roxy?
No. It was supposed to be a series starring cryptids,
Oh, okay, I got you. That must be
and
thinking of a different
it
title.
never showed up.
By the way, Carl asked a very important question in the chat. He says, "When did this show turn into Nevermind the Furthermore?" Well, you know what, Carl? I've been gone a long time, and I feel like certain people need to be supported and promoted. So that's why I just turned into BKM, which is Brian K. Morris. By the way, hashtag take another shot, Brian K. Morris. You dropped your name again. Yeah, I blame him. If it weren't for Brian K. Morris, I wouldn't know who any of these writers are. So thank you, Rising Tide Publications and the Stupid O'Clock crew, because you're a wonderful group of people, even though I think you're very oddball and weird 99% of the time. But hey, at least Rich and I are normal
Hey,
somewhat of the time.
we take pride in that.
No, I am not normal by any stretch of the imagination.
And
I know, Rich. I'm joshing you, man. But it's all in good fun, Rich, because we're all friends here, right, Rich? We're all friends here.
No, and Josh is doing his own broadcast tonight. So
Is he?
yes.
and where did Nevermind the Furthermore originally come from?
It was Rising Tide Publications.
Dan might know. No. Where did they get it from?
I don't know. Oh, they got it from Doctor Who, didn't they?
Never.
No.
Before Doctor Who.
Well, he does wear a giant fez and a bow tie. That's what Brian K. Morris wears when he's on camera.
Never mind the furthermore, they're pleading self-defense.
Where did that come from? Anybody know?
The Monkees.
It's a monkey song?
Yep.
I didn't know Brian K. Morris had such.
There's No Time by the Monkees, and Mickey Dolenz got it from something else, and now I'm having a Dan Hollifield moment here, and I can't remember where Mickey Dolenz got it from, but that's where I knew it from. The song called "No Time" by the Monkees.
Really?
Donna said somebody named John Kennedy.
Was it John Kennedy?
I don't know.
That's where he got the.
Oh well, the Rising Tide lifts.
Rising Tide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which John Kennedy, the original quote was not raising all ships or whatever. It was lifting all boats.
Yes.
And John Kennedy was accredited for saying that, but that was actually not his quote. That's a quote that he's famous for, but he actually got it from someone that he knew. And I just told John Pica this the other day in a comment, and now I can't remember it, but it was from someone who worked alongside with John Kennedy.
Really?
And John Kennedy liked that quote so much that he used it in one of his speeches, and then it became memorable for him. So everybody thinks that John Kennedy was the originator of that quote, but in all reality, he was not.
It's a fascinating thing about how much we learned about history on this show that's called Stupid O'Clock, ironically enough.
It's the kind of discussions you would have at a convention when everything's died down and you're trying to decide which room party to go crash.
That's true. What was like, Dan, you brought up something. I'm trying to remember what it was. The whole thing was not Shakespeare, Carl. Chris said we put the fun and dysfunctional here on Stupid O'Clock. I would venture to say that's true, Chris. Thank you for noticing. Yeah,
Ed's one of my folks from Aphelion, one of our success stories. Now he's getting paid for writing. Yeah, I'm proud of him.
It's
seriously,
amazing. It really is. I'm just amazed at how many wonderful people we've met through. I mean, granted, it could have come from these circumstances, whether it's during the pandemic or not. But at the same time, it's like, and this goes along with what I was saying earlier about the holiday season. I'm grateful to have met all these guys, and I'm grateful to have met all the people I have met in these last 3 years since the pandemic started, because networking is so important in whatever industry that you're involved in, whether it's writing or not. And then the more friends you have, the better off you're going to be, period. So, not to sound like a Christmas movie at the end where everyone's jipping and jollying and saying, it feels like Christmas. Which, by the way, happy 30th anniversary to my favorite holiday film of all time, The Muppet Christmas Carol, turned 30 this past weekend. So God bless that film. But
Oh,
Yeah,
and Rich, you may not have realized, but January 27th, Epelion turns 26 years old.
Holy crap!
Yep.
Wow.
I've
That's
been at this a long time.
really, Dan. I wouldn't have said you don't look a day over 30, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I have been
Uh,
working in a factory for quite a while.
Yeah. But I'm so thankful to have met all these guys because it's amazing how many creative minds we have here, whether it's on this stage or in the other stages that we met them in, whether it's Rising Tide or otherwise, because
Hmm.
independent writers and publishers are some of the most creative and incredible people I've ever met. So, I mean,
Hey,
these
and
fine folks included. Bill Sarton, if it weren't for Bill Sarton, I wouldn't know who he is and I wouldn't know his great artwork that I've purchased over the years. And by the way, if you want a really good holiday gift, check this guy out, the artwork of Bill Sarton, because this guy brings back childhood in spades with his drawing abilities and his creative arts.
he takes
So
commissions.
he does take commissions. So please do yourself a favor. Follow his page at Sarton76 and also follow the Facebook group Every Day is Saturday because the holiday specials are going to be dropping and they have been dropping every single week for these last few weeks. And yes, Bob Ross would agree, Bill. I agree. Bill says just put some, some trees here, and we put a little dark color of orange right here. Just little tap right there.
Happy little bills. Just paint some happy little bills. Guess what's in?
Can't paint happy little
have
bills
you
with a
been
Secret
watching
Service logo.
every day? Yeah.
I mean,
Have you been
unfortunately,
watching every day is Saturday?
I haven't been watching every day the specials you've been posting lately, Bill, but I will watch definitely some of them as time goes on because obviously my favorite one is Charlie Brown Christmas.
That one you're going to have to wait till Christmas Day to see, but I've been doing kind of, you might say, little
Good night, Ed.
spoilers daily along with the regular cartoons and that. And then also on my artwork channel tonight, you spoke of the Muppet ones, Ryan. I did Jim Henson's 1977 Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Oh,
And
I remember that. I grew up on
it's
it.
on. It's on there now if you want to watch
guess
it.
what, Bill?
And
Guess what I'm going to do this weekend, Bill? I'm going to go back to that page and I'm going to watch that because I remember watching that as a kid. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
Oh,
yep, it's uncut with no commercials. But every day I'm going to feature either a little Christmas short or one of the actual Christmas cartoons that you grew up with. And then on Christmas Day, watch out. It's just going to be flooded everywhere.
Well,
And occasionally I put up in the Facebook stories to have people go there. Right now, the last that I checked, the Every Day is Saturday Facebook group has 2.4K members in the group. So, and we're just getting more and more from all over the world. People are coming in. I had a lady the other night made a very nice comment to me, and my being humble will prevent me from repeating it, but it was very nice, and it makes it well worth doing it because right now I lost my other admin, the one who actually created the group. He passed away, so now the group is legitimately it's solely mine now, and so I want to. And he used to put up some wonderful things, and that's why I joined the group, and I would kind of add to it, and then he made me an admin, but I want to do it for him. His name was Flash Penbrook, and he's the one who started it all, and I will dearly miss him because he was a very special person, and that. So, but yeah, thank you for promoting me because I don't promote myself here. I don't.
No, okay, man. You know, I enjoy supporting other peeps in this crazy mixed world that we're living in. I support you, But listen, I got to head out of here, fellas, but it was great to see everybody. I'm happy to be here with you guys. I wish you nothing but success for the remainder of this year and into 2023. And if you're watching this, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff at RyanRPM5. Follow us at Nerd Culture Channel on YouTube. Check out the channel. We got some great stuff coming your way very soon. For the end of this year and into the new year. And once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to throw a big party.
I'm going to say goodbye for Joe. Apparently, Dan's plumbing problems are contagious because Joe had to go fix something at his house.
Well, Joe, sorry to hear about that, but try to stay cool about it, brother. But this was fun. Take it easy, you guys. Bill, I'm going to go back and watch Emmett Otter's Joke Band Christmas because my mom was talking about that the other day, and I'm like, dude, got to go back and watch that classic stuff.
Happy holidays to you and yours there, Ryan.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you for
Merry Christmas or happy whatever you do celebrate if you don't celebrate Christmas.
Good to see you.
You are more than welcome to drop in here and, anytime. It's an open invitation.
I look forward to coming back real soon. And just to give you a quick, I do celebrate Christmas, but I'm trying to be respectful and just say, hey, happy holidays, everybody. Take it easy.
Wait, real quick, we leave.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Few Good Men. Is that what you're doing?
Friday night, 8 p.m. EST. Yes, I will drop the links in the Stupid O'Clock Facebook group page so everyone can find them and watch us. Yes, you can't handle the truth. Well, we're going to be talking about how you can't handle the truth, Rich, on Friday night, 8 p.m. EST. Drop it like it's hot. We're going to celebrate the 30th anniversary of A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak, Kiefer Sutherland, Noah Wyle, Cuba Gooding Jr., all these young up-and-coming actors at the time. Well, some of them were young. Jack Nicholson just seems to never age. But we're going to watch that. We're going to celebrate it. And we got another one, too, on Monday. But I'll post it in the Stupid O'Clock Facebook group page. Check them out. All the links will be there. But in the meantime, happy holidays. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Manamana.
Take a left, bro.
Got to get him in here more often. Yeah. Now,
he is a force of nature,
huh? You get him and Nick Tucker in the same channel. Don't need anybody else. They'd probably come to blows as to who gets the next sentence, though.
Where's Kiri? Kiri, you're supposed to be in here too, pal. It's the holidays. You have no excuse.
He popped up for his own stream, I think.
Oh, well, then he does have an excuse. My bad.
Yeah, I'm wondering about Joe's plumbing problem. Was that a Taco Bell related plumbing problem?
He probably created the plumbing problem, yes, and now has to fix it.
I have to run down the hall. I have to stay down the hall.
I'll be sleeping down the hall tonight.
Oh, there was somebody in England that was watching some little 15-minute documentary on the top 10 different American fast food places, and they were going, "Oh yeah, Taco Bell. We've got one of those over here. It's so good." And I'm going, "Oh, if you only knew." Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Got to take a decompression chamber after Ryan. I didn't think my ego could get that small. Got to make room.
Well, I'll wait till John gets back to share it because I know he'll want to see it. But it has to do with Joe's plumbing, and I'm trying to pull it up here.
Oh. Your call, dude.
Oh, there, Joe.
You got it?
Got it.
Yeah, I wondered if it was a Taco Bell related plumbing problem.
No, it was hamburger grease in the kitchen sink.
Ah.
I didn't pour hamburger grease down the sink.
Isn't that supposed to be poured over the dog food?
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe's back. I thought you were gone for the night.
Yep.
It was an easy fix.
If you guys really want to know, I actually have video that of Joe's, the plumber that he called in to fix his plumbing problem, and here it is there.
No, once I got a little bit cleared out, all the hot water from the hot water tank took care of the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you've got to boil a kettle and pour it down there to get it started.
Yep.
Would it freeze up on you or something?
Mm.
I didn't pour
Hamburger grease.
I didn't pour the hamburger grease down the sink.
We used to do that, and since then I put a plate under the colander and then put it in the trash can. Or let the dogs have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, when I pulled the grease trap out, and it's like, you didn't pour the grease? No, I didn't.
Hey, it's gonna get cold tonight, so you might want to pour a couple more things of hot water.
Oh, I've emptied the hot water.
Yeah.
You're lucky though. You're on a big hill.
Yeah.
It was bothering me, the rising tide quote, who JFK got it from originally, and so I had to Google it to get it, but it was the Regional Chamber of Commerce of the New England Council. A rising tide lifts all the boats. And then they said from then on, Kennedy would often borrow the slogan because he thought so much of it at the time. And I think, didn't it, John, a lot of that quote, or at least Kennedy's part of using that quote, had to do with supporting Europe and that? Or,
it was about
okay.
It was about the difference between capitalism and communism. We have to support all the people that are opposing communism. And boy, was he right.
Uh-huh.
Boy, that killed a conversation right there.
No, I just got some breaking news.
Really?
Well, fix it.
Duct tape.
Handyman's secret weapon.
Dan, how does the Duchess of Edinburgh sound for Princess Charlotte?
Whoa. Okay.
Charles is, instead of passing it to one of the brothers, it's going to Charlotte to keep it in direct.
Yep. In a direct line of
Succession.
Yeah.
Thank you. I kept trying to say the word descent, but that ain't right. Secession, yes.
Succession. Or secession. It's which one means you're leaving the government?
Succession.
Yeah. And wasn't tonight the I don't have those fancy channels, so I couldn't see it, but I thought I overheard that tonight was the final episodes of the Harry and Meghan, where they're kind of trash talking.
I don't know.
Haven't the faintest idea.
When I just really don't get the whole reality TV thing with, like, the only Kardashians I like are in a battle with Bajor. Okay.
Yeah.
We're on Deep Space Nine, yeah.
Well, they said that it has a lot of people in England kind of up in arms and that, on both sides, I guess, of it. So some people are saying that, they need to be represented like Charles and Diana was, and have their wishes respected or what have you, and other people are saying that, oh, they're in it all for themselves, and they purposely put out this reality show, so soon to the death of the Queen.
I'll tell you exactly what it is, Phil. He married an American woman who ain't gonna put up with that shit. Is that about right, Dan?
Pretty close, yeah. I couldn't think of a way to say it diplomatically myself. If I remember right, the last time that happened, it was Edward and
whatever her name was.
Oh,
yeah.
Back in the 30s.
Yeah.
Noah,
And he had to
About the mid 30s.
he had to abdicate to solve the problem. It was such an uproar.
Dan, did they ever have kids?
Who?
Edward and whatever her name was.
That I don't know. And Lindsay's going to be a
Wallace
talking Esther.
Simpson.
Yes.
Oh, great. He married into the Simpson family.
Mrs. Simpson. Yes.
Martin Lisa.
No!
And Sarah goes, Harry's been called the spare his whole life. Actually, if you look at Harry and you look at Diana's horse training coach, Charles just did it to save face. Have you seen that picture, Dan?
I was just thinking, in this day of DNA testing to find out your family heritage, that opened up a whole new kettle of fish right there.
Oh yeah. And said no, there were no kids.
Oh.
That would be a
Yeah, they're. Well, I'm looking. Okay, you're talking about King Edward VIII, right?
No, Edward VIII was the one that killed all his wives because none of them could have a boy.
No, that was Henry VIII.
Henry.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Edward.
That was Henry.
The eighth I am, enter the eighth I am.
Okay, we are talking about King Emperor Edward VIII, who married Wallace Simpson.
Yeah, I thought it was the seventh.
The one he would have been later known as the Duke of Windsor.
Mm-hmm. And they moved.
Here it says
New York City. New York City.
He was given the title. He was given the title of Duke of Windsor.
Well, I'm looking
No.
here on the
Succeeded by his
siblings,
brother
and it says
He became George VI. And Edward was given the title. Okay, his brother became, when he abdicated, his brother became king, and he became Duke of Windsor. And then married Simpson.
It's the only family that's more complicated than the SCA. And
And they say hillbilly families are hard to follow.
No, because the hillbilly family is usually just a straight pole.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's a complete square.
It's a brass pole.
Yeah, it's brass pole.
Yeah.
So that's a trailer park family.
Well, I am my own cousin like 3 or 4 times removed, so I'm not far off.
I keep getting removed, but I keep coming back.
I keep telling them to put a different lock on the door. Yeah, they said that he, later known as Duke of Windsor, was king of United Kingdom and dominions of the British Empire and Emperor of India from 20 January 1936 until his abdication in December of that same year. Now they're saying under siblings, yeah, Wallace Simpson was his wife till 1972. George VI, Prince George, Duke of Kent, Mary, Princess Royal, and Countess of Harewood Moore, or something like that. I don't know, but that's just Wikipedia, of course. Wiki.
Yep. Oh, damn! 5 minutes.
5 minutes. We don't even
Flew
have,
by.
we don't even have time to play the 5-minute warning.
Sure we do.
I'll do it. There you go. All done.
Ooh. This has been an entertaining evening, and we actually have more people watching now than when Warren was here.
Yeah.
I was amazed that we kept 8 people all night. Now we got 9. So okay, Carl, you want me to send you a link? I mean, already sent Donna one.
Carl wants a smoky link.
Who doesn't? Those are tasty as hell.
Oh, Lord.
Remember, folks, a rising tide lifts all surfboards.
Yeah.
Hey.
Dan, have you seen that video of the old man out in his backyard, and the alligator comes up? He whops an alligator on the head twice with the skillet, and the alligator heads off.
Yeah.
It was in Australia. It was actually a crocodile,
Right.
and he runs a bed and breakfast. And apparently, all the people that were at the bed and breakfast saw that crocodile, got upset that there was a crocodile in the backyard, so he walked down there with the skillet, and alligator or that crocodile starts coming at him. And he whacked it with the skillet, and it looked at him like, "I'm going to kill you." And he whacked it again. It says, "Okay," and it took off.
Come back again. Your dinner.
That's
Poor Walligator.
wow.
Hey,
All
they
right.
don't have that. They don't have that problem in Louisiana.
See you later,
That's breakfast.
Walligator.
All right, it's time to hit the see you later. So y'all have a good one. We'll catch y'all Saturday night, 11 o'clock. Good night, everybody.
I can
Yeah,
do
that's
it.
good. Be safe.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the eternal, long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
If there's a wiener on that monitor, I swear to God, Stu.